Something new for the channel today. This is a brand I haven't featured before. This I hope you recognise as being DANNER boots. And I thought I'd try out something new for the channel. A way of creating more content and giving you a bit of a choice over what boots you see in long-term reviews. If you follow my channel, you'll know that I like to give a long-term review of all the boots I feature. So, as I hadn't featured DANNER before, I'd featured plenty of other brands, Red Wings, Thorogoods, all sorts of stuff. I thought what I'd do is I would bring to the channel the boots which I thought sort of represented DANNER the best. The boots I recognise as being absolutely sort of DANNER silhouettes. Certainly what I associate the brand with. So what we've got here is the Bull Run, which is probably one of their most basic boots. Very, very similar construction and look to some of the Red Wings with the Christie sole. We've got the Light, which is a more technical boot, Vibram sole, Gore-Tex lined, and then we've got the Mountain Light, which is a very traditional silhouette of a hiking boot. Again, Gore-Tex lined, Vibram sole. All very nicely crafted boots, and what I thought is I'd do a little overview today, show you why I picked these boots, and then maybe we'd pick up some further reviews and go into them in a bit more detail. And what I thought is, if we can give the viewer the option of what I take into long-term review, that might actually make for an interesting outcome. I'd be happy to put any of these boots through their paces over the next sort of 6 months or a year. And obviously I'd like to get your views on what you'd like to see tested. So if you don't know DANNER, DANNER is one of those sort of classic heritage US brands, been going since the 1930s in Portland. Started off by a gentleman called Charles DANNER, and they make sort of probably a more technical boot, I would say, than a Red Wing. Bit more going on, Gore-Tex linings, that sort of stuff, but still very much an old school boot in America, and sort of favoured probably by the outdoorsmen, the service personnel, that sort of thing. So something I really wanted to try out for my channel. In the UK these aren't readily available, and they are a slight premium in price to Red Wing. In fact, these two guys come in at £360, which is over £100 more than most Red Wings. So they are a premium boot. They've got a bit more going on, so that's of interest obviously, and we'll get into that. And equally, these are more readily available in the wider sizing. So these two are both double E sizing. From having an initial try on, they are pretty generously sized. The Bull Run here is a standard D fitting. So, okay, so what I thought we'd do is we'd get in and have a little overview of all these boots very quickly in this video, and then we'll go into some more detailed reviews one by one, and on those videos I'll go by the ones which get the most likes as to which boot I take forwards into a full life review. So let's get started. Also what I think I might do is make some direct comparisons with Red Wing and potentially Freycap, an Italian hiking boot brand, because their product is very, very similar to this Mountain Light model. Okay, well we'll start off with the Mountain Light as we've got it to the side here, and have a quick look at how this boot is put together. As I say, we will come in for some more detailed reviews, lots of close-ups, sizing information, that sort of stuff in a subsequent video focusing just on this boot. But initial thoughts and observations of this boot, like with all the DANNER boots, these are a stitched down construction. So rather than having a separately applied welt, like you'll find with Red Wings, the upper of the boot is rolled outwards and forms a welt at the edge there itself. Now this is a very old school way of making a boot. I think I did a video recently and I read up on it. I think it comes from a Danish sort of background. In the back of my mind, it was something like Veldshun, which means field shoe. It was certainly very popular in English boot making. And what it achieves is basically a simple and recraftable construction, but with the leather folding outwards, it creates a better barrier to water ingress. So quite a nice construction there, and all three boots have got that same stitched down construction. Going down the sole here, you've got sort of several different layers in the sole makeup there. The outermost being a very, very hard Vibram, so that will be pretty robust, I'd hope, both off and on road. You've got a sort of a foam midsole, and then you've got the welt fixing into a sort of a harder rubber layer at the top there. The leather here is sort of waxed oiled leather. It is slightly sort of pull up, so you can sort of get a slight change of coloration as you move the oils around it. Quite a nice looking leather, very simple construction, largely one piece, so that will make for probably quite a nice break-in. No seams or anything to have to battle with, and like all these three models, it is a laced toe or thereabouts design. This looks very, very traditional in terms of a hiking boot, so it's got the stud or stud applied riveted eyelets and the simple bent metal hooks at the top there. Inside we have a rather nice bellows tongue. So the bellows tongue allows several layers, so insulation protection both of the leather and of the laces. Also it allows a little bit of extra protection for water ingress. I do like this sort of style of tongue, it looks quite nice and smart. One thing I am a bit disappointed with is the way this has been packed and stored. It does need a little bit of time to settle back into its desired form. Inside the boot you've got a nice leather lining up at the collar here and on the inside of the tongue, and then you're into a Vibram liner throughout, so your waterproof breathable liner there. Sorry, did I say Vibram? I meant Gore-Tex if I did. So Gore-Tex liner. No insole. I did think that these boots, and certainly the light, came with an Airthotic half insole, which I was interested to try out, but these don't. So yeah, very, very traditional looking hiker there. Really quite nice. Let me know what you think, and maybe we'll try that out long term. Then moving on to a similar boot in a lot of ways, the light model. This equally has the Gore-Tex liner, so lace toe construction, slightly more going on the upper, with several stitched panels. You've also got this fabric section through here. Now I'm not sure whether that's fabric over a leather backing. If anyone knows, I'd love to hear. Equally, what the actual sort of functional design is for this. I'm not sure whether it's longevity, greater flexibility, breathability, what that actually is doing for the boot, but it does look rather nice aesthetically. It gives it that sort of slight sort of service design, that aesthetic. So very similar, I would say, to the Magnum boots, which are favoured by our police force in the UK, or certainly have been over the years. The sole construction is very similar to the Mountain Light. So you've got Vibram and then foam hard rubber, then the stitch down upper. One of the interesting things about the stitch down upper is what they say about it in terms of their warranty. Now, these are recraftable, but what they do point out is this does need to be kept in good repair. So if you get cracks along the join with the upper, if you wear away too much of it, they will not be able to recraft your shoe. I'm sure that's absolutely correct, but equally on Red Wing's sort of resoling sort of policies, they're not as restrictive, and should you damage the welt on a Red Wing boot, it can be re-welted, whereas these cannot because of their stitch down construction. It's all one piece. So that's interesting just to note. This isn't a oily sort of pull-up leather. This is very much a finished, polished and coloured leather. I'm not sure how that will patina over time, but we will see if we give that a long-term review. Inside the boot, we have got a Gore-Tex liner. We've got a very, very high bellows on there, so up to all but the last speed hook there. So that is definitely designed with function and waterproofness in mind. Really quite nice. These speed hooks are very nice as well. They're not bent metal, they're actually machined single pieces, so they are going to be pretty robust in the long term. So yeah, that's the light. Price point the same pretty much as the mountain light. They're 360. These are definitely would be viewed as a premium boot in the UK, and really have got something to prove over their competitor Redwing, I think. Although Redwing, to be fair, do not make as technical a boot by any stretch of the imagination. Finally, for today, very quick overview of the Bull Run. So this is a much more familiar look and feel to Redwing. So these have got a Christie wedge sole with the sort of the single sort of piece, or rather than having the heel construction. So this is sort of been designed for the field, so you can have maximum contact with muddy ground, and also not bring in huge amounts of mud into your property, into your house, because of the low profile tread. Now with this, and if you've watched my videos, you'll know that I have some issues over the longevity of Redwings with this type of sole. I supinate, which is the opposite of overpronation, so the outer edge of my sole wears down quicker, certainly on the heel, and that is really exaggerated with a soft Christie sole. I love the look, very comfortable, definitely good if you're on your feet all day, but longevity is a bit of an issue. Now, one of the things about this sole which worries me a little bit is, first impressions are that this is very much softer even than the sole that you find with a Redwing. When we do a detailed review of this boot, I will have a little test with a durometer tester. I've got some sort of baseline readings of other soles, and we'll get a bit of a feel, or maybe sort of make some assumptions on how this sole might wear. But first impressions are that this sole is probably a little bit soft, to expect a really long life if you're going to be walking on hard surfaces. Off-road, no problem at all, but I think all of us will end up walking on concrete and tarmac relatively frequently. So moving up the upper again, or up the boot rather, again it has got the stitch down construction. A little bit more going on in terms of design, much more similar to the light rather than the mountain light. So you've got the counter at the back here, you've got a stitch section going around to the forefoot, the toe box. Very nice stitching, looks pretty good. DANNER branding at the back there. Yeah, this is a oily leather, sort of again, sort of a pull-up leather, so you can get that slight lightening as the oars are displaced as you run your finger underneath it. So this will patina nicely and be easily kept supple and sort of waterproof with basic conditioners and sort of mink oils, that sort of stuff. Got the familiar two-tone sort of corn and brown lacing there. A bellows tongue again, but not going up quite as far. Again, you've got the nice speed hooks with the machined finish. On the inside, feeling very similar to Redwing in terms of the unlined heel section, but inside they've got a little bit of wicking material running from the vamp at the front of the foot around to the heel there at the back. So a little bit more going on, and equally you've got a soft insole, orthotic, as opposed to the other boots which did not. Single density foam by the looks of it, very simple insole, but a little bit more than you'd find in a Redwing maybe. Yeah, so a pretty basic boot, but very nice nonetheless. A little bit concerned about the longevity of the sole, but that is maybe. Okay, well, so there are your 3 boots. As I say, trying something a little bit different for the channel today. I'm going to give you the choice of what boot you see going through to a long-term review. I'll be posting a up close and personal with each one of these, going into a little bit more detail, a few more close-ups, a bit of analysis over the materials, the longevity of the sole, some thoughts on how they might wear. With those videos, please give your likes to the one that you think will make for the most interesting review long term. If there is a model here that you feel isn't covered well on YouTube already, certainly the mountain light and the light I think are pretty well covered. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Which one do you want to see a long-term review for the channel? And yeah, I hope you find that interesting. Okay, well that's about it for this evening. Bit of a ramble, quick look at these 3 boots, and yeah, we'll leave it there. If you haven't seen my channel before, please check it out. We might share some other common interests. As you'll have picked up, massively into boots, denim, everyday carry, fountain pens, pen knives, that sort of thing, running, cycling, bit of guitar. We might share some other common interests, so please subscribe. If you thought this video was useful, or you find the basis of this exploration of the brand of interest, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you for the next video. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.